chat. Boys and girls, good morning. Welcome in. How we all doing? How we doing? It's the real me. It's the real me. I'm trying something. We'll see how this goes, right? I'm testing something. I'm trying something out. I've been considering doing something like this for a while, which is to have the 24/7 channel on the go. Didn't quite know exactly how I was going to approach this, but it's now up and running on Twitch. Manthy 24/7 is up and running. We'll see if anybody cares, see if it's of interest to anybody. But having a channel where the VODs play, a random selection of VODs, that I've clustered it so that there's some of the more recent VODs and then a couple of old surprise ones that you may or may not have seen. And to be honest, I've actually took a little bit of a look through them, and some of them were a bit cringeworthy, but that's all part of the entertainment, isn't it, really? So we'll see how that goes. If it's a complete flop, if nobody cares, I'll turn it off. But it's I thought we'd try something anyway. But how are we all? Did we have a good weekend? It's weird me saying it's Monday because I haven't actually taken a day off. I was working both yesterday and Saturday, so it's just another day for me. Is how it feels. But I want to jump back on the beta today. I think we're going to be mostly spending time on the beta from this point on. The pre-patch goes live on Wednesday, doesn't it? This reset, we get pre-patch, which I kind of know is going to be a bit of a shit show. I know it's going to be a bit of a shit show because so much is changing. You bet your ass shit will be broken. But that's the point of pre-patch, right? Pre-patch is meant to break things. There's a reason why they delay the main pre-patch event until a week after pre-patch, because they want to give themselves that week when shit's broken, right? We're going to have the add-on purge. We've got the add-on purge. We've got the level squish. We've got, you know, all the class changes, the ability pruning, all of that sort of goodness comes in. The transmog changes, new demon hunter spec, the whole shebang, right? All of that kicks off in a couple of days' time, so it's going to be it's going to be a little bit wild. Cheerful with a 17, thank you, good morning, welcome in, welcome in. Most of my add-ons are not working. Yeah, the purge is going to be pretty wild.
Is that your
pretty
wallet?
wild. Cow with the 21. Thank you very much, boys and girls. Good morning. Welcome in, welcome in. Already deleted all my add-ons. I see my add-on list is not so ridiculous that I think that I need to purge it. Like, the amount of like actual combat add-ons I really use are minimal. Maybe down to the amount of actual endgame combat I get into, I suppose. But, like, it's a huge amount of my add-ons, I hope, just get updated for 12.0, and it's GG well played. I leveled 5 more druids for farming in Remix yesterday up to 80. Remix is done now, right? Remix is closed. Remix is finished. Am I right in saying? It should be now. I need to log on to retail actually for a quick minute. There seems to be a war happening behind me. Lambs. Hey! Leave Nipsu alone. Leave Nipsu alone. Solo is just chilling, but the other pair are... The other ones are going crazy. Yes, you. You. Oh, there's 18 hours left, is there? Do I technically finish things off? Do I technically finish things off in Remix? I haven't decided. Oh my god, you've kicked off a hype train. Chew, motherfucking chew. Hype train is here. Maybe that's what the dogs were getting excited about. I need to get the main account open. I got to relist auctions. Obviously, we've got to relist decor. That's an interesting thing, actually. Something a little bit more close to home, isn't it? Decor is Endeavour's kickoff. I think Mr. GM did a video on it. We might watch that this morning. I need to pay a little bit of attention to that. Endeavour's kickoff. We have a slight change to lumber. Is TSM Midnight ready? No idea. Probably not. Those guys seem to never update the add-on until the patch is already live. They tend to fight fires. Which, yes, will mean that TSM just won't work on patch day as well. Oh yeah, subtle change to lumber. When you're out lumbering, they have apparently increased the chances of a ×2 and a ×3 lumber proc. Now, what that means to lumber rates, I mean, it's not going to double, triple the amount of lumber people are getting, but it might be a modest amount more. That said, people apparently have tested it and didn't really notice all that much difference. So we'll have to see what happens. We'll have to see. Sporagar Endeavour ASAP. See, I haven't looked at these in much detail. I've been way too busy focused on professions and stuff to really know what's going on with those. Yeah, maybe I think Mr. GM did a little video on that. Maybe we'll throw that up in a little bit. I need my coffee, so. Raiding community is terrified in general. Can't even imagine raiding without those add-ons. I think you'll find that most people seem to believe they rely on add-ons a lot more than they actually do. This is often why I think that some people's UIs end up being an absolute clusterfuck of chaos. Simply on the basis of that most people will install an add-on like a cooldown tracker or something, and they'll put it on the screen, and then they just never look at it. Like, it's there, and they think that they're better because it's there, and they've installed these add-ons. But I think a huge amount of the player base installs a whole bunch of add-ons because they believe that they need to, and then they just don't use them anyway. But there will definitely be some stuff that'll be sorely missed. Video of Mr. GM is missing a lot of stuff, basically useless. Oh, I mean, that probably sounds a little harsh. He's probably tried to condense it down so it's not a big-ass 30-minute video or something. Same with the weak aura packs. They install it and think it's fine until they can't find shit on their screen. Yeah, I think there's probably a lot of that. I think it'll actually be a good way for some people to purge, clean their UIs, and then not have 5,000 things on their screen, you know? Been raiding for years, used deadly boss mods once in WoD on the train boss. So you don't get squished. But it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see. The first few days are going to be chaos. I'm quite fortunate, I think, in a way. I know this sounds crazy, but there's not a lot I want to be doing in retail anyway. So there's part of me that's like, if pre-patch completely falls over for a few days, I don't really mind. I'll just go out and farm some lumber, craft some more decor. You know, we'll just do what we do. I haven't like played end game retail for like quite a while at this point. Because it's I didn't feel I needed to, is the honest answer. See you later, little train. See you later, little train. Come back again soon. I love that little hype train thing, you know. It's very cute. Right, let's get that lot posted. Sell a few random bits and bobs. I think I'm the only one that prepped for P-Patch, so I'm either dumb or a genius. The license, well, often that line is quite blurred. Yeah, that's for sure. Holy paragraph, Jack. Good morning, by the way. A lot of guilds will do Dementius on the pre-patch to get the mount. Phase 3, you need to hide under a plant, but that needs to be equally spread between 4 planets. Oh, hide under a planet, sorry. Under a plant. You can tell I haven't done it. You need to hide in the planet for the right 2 seconds or you die or take too much damage. Too many people under a planet is boom. You need a weak aura for it. Well, then they won't. Then they'll have to figure shit out, won't they? They'll have to figure shit out. Sure, transition period. An old boss without the add-ons could be quite funny to watch, to be honest. Figure shit out. The other thing that is going to be a bit crazy is that all of the numbers are going to be all over the place. Let's not forget that people are going to be running around in like fully mythic gear, but the level squish and the stat squish is going to push the damage numbers down to as if you're leveling. Actually, I think you'll find that everybody is going to gain like significantly large amounts of DPS. I reckon damage numbers will be off the fucking charts. So I think it'll probably be fine. Now, I know, you know, some things you can't fix by just hitting harder, but enough things you can, so I think it'll be alright. Wow, first realm, 50k. Yoink. Let's hope all the realms look like that. Sunday, historically, is a good day for sales, actually. 20k on this realm. Nothing. Nothing. Well, that was still 70k across 4 realms. We take that. Yeah, historically, Sunday's a pretty good day for decor. Now, I didn't keep on top of it because I was busy doing other things, but if it's... I'll tell you what we can do. Let's make this a little easier to see. Let's do it this way. Just predetermine who goes where. Like I said, people use weak auras to make things easier and then almost rely on them. I think people just figure it out. And if they don't, then, well, there'll be no more mythic kills after pre-patch. But, you know, so be it. So be it. Do accounts without Midnight get access to the War Within in pre-patch? I assume not yet. It's a very good point. Is the War Within going to get rolled into the base game now? Or is it going to get rolled into the base game when Midnight actually launches? I would say now, to be honest, because this patch is 12.0. For all intensive purposes, we're going into Midnight. The Midnight pre-patch is the start of Midnight, technically. You just don't have access to the Midnight content specifically until the patch goes live. But as far as the game and the client and everything is concerned, the War Within is 11.0 content. We're going into 12.0. And so there's a strong chance that people without... There's probably a strong chance of that people without the War Within now will get the War Within. But I mean, at this point, like... Is there really going to be that many people that are just still running around playing Dragonflight? I don't know. There was I know some people do it. To be fair, Midnight has probably been one of the easiest expansions to buy a sub, or maybe to migrate classic Andes into retail again. go full circle, you know. Classic basically exists because of all retail Andes moving to Classic, and now Blizzard are trying to get all the Classic Andes back into retail. We've gone full circle. But if you've just had a sub in order to play Classic, then you could technically have been playing harvesting lumber, crafting decor, selling, farming, doing all of that good stuff, and you could have probably made an absolute killing without a single copy of, without even buying the game at this point. Just a sub, I think, is how it works. I'm going to be honest, I've played this game for 20 years, and I still don't fully understand how all of the subs and the options and the things work. Says me with 4 accounts on screen, but... We got Dark Moon decks for Dawn Crystals, tons of ways for Radiant Shards. What's the best looking green to DE? What, like right now? Oh, you mean for in Midnight? Well, in Midnight you'll just shatter the blues. There's your infinite source of greens. It took them a while to add the shatter in the War Within, but it's there already for Midnight, so it's fine. Gonna have to change all the Discord stuff to this week as well, aren't we? I'm gonna have to do a reshuffle of the channels in Discord, actually, thinking about it. In fact, I haven't even done a Discord ping this morning, have I? One absolute terrible amateur. Absolute fucking amateur hour. Absolute amateur hour. Yeah, we're going to have to shuffle things around in the Discord. No longer do we need a War Within category. We're going to have to change the name of some of the main channels. Doggos, can you chill, please? You were all fast asleep 5 minutes before I started the stream. You could buy the Unbound Star Eater mount. Really cool. I don't even know what that mount is. Its mount continues to drop for Mythic Dimensius during the pre-patch. However, its drop rate will be significantly reduced. Oh, I'm not bothered about that sort of stuff. I'm not buying Mythic boosts just to get mounts. That's not a me thing. That's not a me thing at all. I'll farm it when it's 1% if I really want it. How are you doing, Drizzling Rose? Welcome in. Good morning, good morning. The dogs say good morning as well. Hey, no barking. No barking. Both the puppies want the toy, and Nipsu isn't sharing. You still get sparks and craft gear in the pre-patch? Yeah, the War Within content still works. Have Blizzard done any official survival guide style videos for this yet? I need to have a little look. I mean, so busy in the beta, I've not really considered much about what's going on with pre-patch this week, if I'm honest. That's why I'm kind of like mentally digesting it live. Oh, there's literally one on the launcher, is there? Oh, I should probably have a look. Cheeky little live react. Let me loot the mailboxes and relist auctions, and then we'll figure out what's going on. I remember correctly yesterday on Elon's stream, they were saying you can buy an auto loot weapon from the dinars. What? An auto loot weapon? What? What's an auto loot weapon? Are we talking looterang style? AoE loot on crack? There's a two-handed mace that loots dead mobs near you? Wow. Okay. Is that a thing? Really? More of the Void? Is that what it's called? I mean, that's like every bot's dream, right? That's got to be absolutely cracked for old transmog farming. Half your time spent is farming, is flipping, clicking on shinies to pick stuff up. Empower the Moore's singularity, collecting loot from corpses within 40 yards and crushing them into void dust. 3-second cooldown. What does the "and crushing them into void dust" bit mean? Imagine trusting that though, mental. What, every 3 seconds you press it, pulls things. It's like it's a looterang, isn't it? It's gonna just literally be the looterang mechanic. Makes the mobs you killed into piles of black dust. So it leaves piles of black dust, but you get the loot. I mean, that's hella fun. That's really fun. That's like speed druid absolute must have. That's very fun. I mean, we should get ourselves one of those. Yeah, your speed druids need one of them. Wildstar had an AoE vacuum loot button, which was really kind of neat. Never played Wildstar. I kind of missed the train on that one. 2x4 farming group dream. Yeah, your boomies and your speed druids are gonna want their hands on one of them, aren't they? Oh, hang on, what was it? What was it? Like, I mean, like, was it a mace? Two-handed mace. Doesn't that greatly limit the amount of classes that can use that then? And can boomies equip two-handed maces? That's a cool item all the same. Right, while these ones load, coffee. I've just realised Dogecat doesn't fit the Dogecat doesn't fit the window properly. Still doesn't fit the screen probably. Whatever. White, 1 sugar? And coffee? White, 1 sugar. Sounds like tea. Something horrible's gone wrong if that's your coffee. Sugar in coffee. Yuck. Milk in coffee. Yuck. I don't know why. I've always taken coffee black. Why, my sister-in-law is one of those who, like, a coffee must be dark roast. If it's not dark roast, she won't drink it. And it always makes me giggle that it's dark roast, but then she puts so much fucking milk in it. I'm like, not dark anymore. If she, like, her dark roast, if I drink that coffee black, it's like, pong! Your eyes just explode. Yeah, the spoon gets stuck. You put it in and it just comes out a stick. Melts. Whoa, 260% move speed without a mount on your Demon Hunter. This is actually kind of why I should probably go poke around Remix a little bit later. Just double check I've, like, spent my bronze and stuff and got from it whatever I wanted. Whoa, hello, 75k. Woo! I sold half my stock. Hello. The most expensive thing was a vase. Or a vase. 17,000 gold, but just a bunch of stuff. Need to fire through these. And I need to make sure I get this whole process done within an hour, otherwise I can't reliably use the last hour's revenue as an overview. I need to speeds. No more slow pokes. 70 characters stacked for midnight. I mean, I want to have a little bit of a start looking at builds for stuff in Remix. In midnight on the beta. I think it could be of good value for people to, if we start with concentration builds, mostly down to the fact that that's what people are going to want to know. They're going to want to know what can they use all these characters for? What are the requirements? I've seen Goldson starting to poke around with this. I was chilling in his stream on Saturday, I think, and he was poking around with some alchemy stuff. The thing for me is that your day 1 0 builds for concentration alts should, for the most part, be literally that. They should be 0 builds. You shouldn't be spending time running around picking up treasures. You shouldn't be. Oh, another 70k. Hello. Bookcase table. Yoink. You shouldn't be spending time running around doing anything on every character. What you want to be doing day 1 is you want to be doing whatever it takes you to spend that first 1,000 concentration. This is where early access is of value to people, because early access is going to give you basically 1,000 more concentration. Going to give you a full bar of concentration to spend before the rest of the player base even turns up. And if you use it quick enough on day 1, it'll be fully recharged again by the time the game actually launches. So Your aim is not to be efficient with your concentration. It's to spend it as fast as you physically can. Now, if you've got 80 characters, you're gonna want to get those characters to a profession table and get said recipe as fast as humanly possible so that you can press the button and spend the concentration. You want to do as little mucking about as humanly possible day one. But there's also part of me that's very, very, very concerned that there's going to be a greater supply of high quality goods on day one than there will be a supply of normal quality goods at this rate. And that will only lead to there being absolutely zero premium in those high quality things. You got to remember the concept of what concentration is meant to be doing. It's meant to be bridging the gap between, it's bridging the value gap between one quality and the high quality. The amount of people I think that are going to be running into midnight, burning concentration on a bunch of crafts, trying to become millionaires, to then only find that there's no added value in a lot of these for one of two reasons. Either that there's just an absolute mass surge of stuff that nobody wants yet. This is the only thing that worries me greatly, is we have a full 10 days before the season starts. And then we have a staggered start to the season on top of that. So it's like, it's going to be ages before people are raiding Mythic and the real true full raid, full season demand kicks in. Ages. We're talking like 3, 4 full cycles of concentration before anybody wants anything. Now, either people do it and throw it in a guild bank, squirrel it away, or but there's going to be such an oversupply of high quality stuff, I feel, via concentration. It's going to be absolutely bananas. If I make a new account, do I need to pay the first sub with money, or does it take token from the other accounts? I don't know. I have had accounts open for. Yeah, I don't know. I genuinely can't remember. I have a sneaky suspicion your first month has to be paid for. There was something about that a long while ago, that your first month of game, I can't remember what it was. We had. Do you remember that time where there was that blip in the Matrix, where there was a blip in the Matrix at a point, wasn't it, where the first month had to be paid for. Then from that point on, you can use BattleNet Balance or something else. Was that in Dragonflight? When did that happen? Vaguely remember something. Oh, another 80k. I tell you what, Sundays, man. Fucking hell, I'm going to keep posting Decor every Sunday. Was it the first 2 months even? I can't remember. There was some shenanigans. It's another one of those bot prevention things, wasn't it? To stop bots being able to like fund themselves. The first month of a new account has to be paid for with real cash money off a credit card, kind of thing. By balance with gold game time from the store. Oh, with real money or 2 months with BattleNet balance? Oh, okay. Either way. Cycle will repeat. People buy high price materials, craft concentration, put them on the auction house. They're not going to sell, and then they will panic, sell them at a loss. Then after 2 weeks, the price will spike again. Quite possibly. This is why my overall concerns for Midnight's Professions are quite strong. Yes, I just like there's so many things that stand out to me that just point me in the direction of that this expansion's launch is going to feel very different to others. Not that there won't be gold to be made, but as is usually the case, it won't be made in the places where people most suspect it will be made. That's why I'm going to be quite content to have, 50 million gold worth of decor to list every day. That's consistently proving to bring in like 500 to 750,000 gold a day. What professions for 50-man remix alt army and chanting and I don't know. If you've got a bunch of characters, there's no need to learn the professions now, because you have to go into Midnight and learn the Midnight profession, so it doesn't matter. Just wait and see. And the honest answer is, if you've got that many characters, avoid there being any opportunity for you to don't put all your eggs in one basket. If you've got a shitload of characters, spread them out. Have a few alchemists, have a few enchanters, have a few jewel crafters. You can always, if one, clearly rises to the top and ends up being, Biss, you can then choose to re-roll into that if you really want. But the best way to put yourself in a position where you don't fail is just to spread it out a little bit, and then just play the winners. Play which ones work best when it all goes live. Enchanting still clearly looks like the standout profession, but depending on how everything ends up being balanced, alchemy, tailoring, jewel crafting, all have strong potential. Leatherworking, blacksmithing, not so much. Inscription is still very, very, very broken at the moment, and probably subject to some pretty aggressive changes before the game goes live. So don't really know about that one. But yeah, once I've got my auctions relisted, we'll jump on the beta and start poking around with builds. We'll pick a profession. We'll figure out what that profession makes with concentration, and then we'll figure out how you build it. And this will be the pattern. This will be the pattern for a while, I think. Pick a profession, pick a path, figure out how to do it, jot it down. That way we'll have, a bunch of different day one options. Is multi-boxing allowed again? It was never not allowed. And this isn't multi-boxing in that definition of multi-boxing. This is just me running multiple accounts at the same time. Multi-boxing more often refers to running around with a bunch of characters all doing the same thing at the same time. I know what it. I know the fact that I'm running 4 accounts all in the auction house at the same time makes it look that way, but I'm just controlling each individual account separately. I just have 4 accounts open. How we doing, Woo? Welcome in. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. That little error I found with Goblin Toolbox, I have no real idea exactly how I did it, nor could I get it to do it again, so it might have just been a weird thing with something else. I often do what the opposite of what the mass is doing, and it usually works. Well, I try to explain to people that if you hyper focus on whatever worked in the last expansion, and you try and do that in the next expansion, it usually doesn't work. And it's usually because the reason it worked in the expansion where it was popular, or became popular, the reason it worked is because not many people were doing it in the first place. Legendaries were popular because not many people were doing them. Legendaries made people a lot of gold because not many people were doing them, and it had such a high barrier to entry. The people who did try often failed. There was a huge amounts of people that tried to and just couldn't. Either didn't have the gold to start it or didn't have the gusto to cancel scan like a moron, or tailoring bolt cooldowns were very heavily popularized by the end of Dragonflight, and everybody tried to set up 1,000 tailors.
You're just glad to see me.
In the War Within,
Both,
and
I
it
hope.
didn't work. It usually ends up being that whatever worked well in the last expansion, so many people jump on it, it just crushes it into the floor the next expansion. And concentration is holding up multiple red flags for me in that regard. Was it just an integer overflow? Something about the way it was calculating the total gold? Maybe you're too rich. Hey, I'll take that. That sounds plenty good enough. Too much monies. Leatherworking comeback in midnight. I can't remember I can't remember leatherworking in too much detail. It absolutely, definitely doesn't have anything too stand out. The armor kits feel very straightforward. Chris with the 23 months, by the way. Thank you very much for that. Good morning. Welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Multibots enjoy it, but I'm constantly scared of people mass reporting me because they see 5 toons. People don't understand the difference between keyboard casting and actually pressing your keys. No, which is why I don't recommend anybody does any form of outer world multi-boxing, because you're just going to get swatted. It's, in my opinion, it's not an if, it's a when situation. And a 70 stream streak. Flipping hell, you're here more than me. Woof, spicy. Congrats, man. That's impressive, thank you. Move your dinos, you're standing on the bank. Oh, I won't be there for too long. Happy to see you have a 24/7 channel. I was talking about that a little bit earlier. It's just a little bit of a running test for me right now at the moment. I've thought about doing something like that for a while. Just a channel that basically just runs, fast streams. See if it's enjoyed by anybody. See if it's of value to me in any way. without getting too deep into the business side of things, it could help with, could help with promoting the Discord, it could help with promoting the guides, it could help with promoting the YouTube channel, this sort of stuff. And like I said, I can because I've got a huge back catalogue of all my VODs. So I can throw things up on there that aren't so easy to. I mean, Twitch, for starters, only stores, what, like 14 days of VODs or something these days? Now, unless you go in there and like clip and highlight stuff, a lot of stuff just gets lost into the nether on Twitch. Another 50k on that realm, though. I've dug out some old VODs, like the patch 9.2 launch VOD is in there, I think. So the day when rank 7 legendaries went bananas is in there. There's a few other like patch day expansion launch VODs in there. There'll be some of it that I'll pop in there and I'll be like, oh my god, like my mic quality was terrible, or what was up with my hairline, or it'll be cringe for me, but cringe is funny, so it's fine. Have you set the VODs to play? You're doing it manually, i.e. post the last 7 days on a loop or something? Yeah, I've just got storage space that I can assign. I can upload VODs to, and I can either play them sequentially or I can play them on shuffle. You've had a worse hairline than this? Well, it's true. It is only going in one direction, to be fair, but... Last minute leveling alts on Remix around midnight while watching the new stream was kind of weird, but I liked it. Well, I've been told so many times in the past that people tend to use my stream as a bit of a podcast kind of styly. Bit of, bit of a lurk scenario, bit of a background audio kind of situation. Which is cool. I have no lurkers chilling in the background is cool for me. I use it for my toilet time. Your special toilet time. I bet you do, you dirty animal. But, I only stream like 3 or 4 hours a day. I'm not one of these people that does these big, long, 8, 12-hour long streams. I'm just not that kind of streamer. So, people can hop in the 24/7 channel, see what's on the menu that day. I do a 3-hour poop. I would suggest you see a doctor. I would suggest you see a doctor. We'll see how it goes. I thought it was an interesting thing to try now when, we're in sort of a hype season with midnight and whatever. It might be of value to people, it might not be. See? The only thing that I do notice is that because I don't have the chat on the screen anywhere, mostly because I've never found a convenient and nice way to do it. Because I don't have the chat on screen anywhere, it means that the random conversations that happen on the VODs can sometimes be a touch touch difficult to keep track of it because there isn't the chat replay. But I'm sure I can figure that out at some point somehow. You're very good at continuously chatting away. Good to work or play to. It helps if it's stuff I'm interested in as well. Well, that's it. Like, it's more a case of just, general similar playstyle chit chat for the most part. Anything WoW profession related, usually there's some sort of common ground there. What are we selling? Decor on these characters right now. Decor, all the decor. Is there a website to find gathering routes for certain mats? WoW Dash Professions does have some material farms, I think. I've not checked them for a long time. It's not an activity I do too much of, so I don't know for sure. They did once upon a time, at least, anyway. A little bit of summon on all of those realms would take that. These decor sales have not been too bad today. We'll do the napkin math in a minute to find out what it totaled to, but so far, at least, it's not been terrible. Oh, the dogs are chewing on a tennis ball. Although, I have a sneaky suspicion they've chewed the end off it. A hole in the end. Hole in the end of the tennis ball. Ow. Fudge McDuck. There's a flipping hole in the end of it. Ugh. Well, there was a squeaker in it. I've got half of it. Right, puppies, that's another toy you're not allowed. Oh, the local pet shop's gonna love me. You'll find it at tomorrow's work. Yeah. These puppies are absolute shit machines. Literally, the puppies poop 3 or 4 times a day. It's kind of what all puppies do, of course, because they're growing and they eat the same amount of food as the big dog, but of course they're growing and they process it super fast. You lot don't need to know about my dog's poop habits. They're generally running out of toys to play with, though, because they keep eating the damn things. So the pet shop's going to love me when I have to go in and buy a whole bunch of new toys. €100 on dog toys is much better than them eating through my computer cables or eating my speakers or, you know. It's a necessary evil. Another 40k. I'm just pleasantly happy with just like periodic sales on all of these realms. Wherever we're actually posting things, we're selling some things. Temu dog toys for the win. They're all going to have flipping COVID on them. I don't like buying the cheap dog toys. I don't know what's in them. Considering my dogs do physically eat them. But yes, it would definitely be a cheap way of cutting the dog toy bill down. Maybe I need the same food as they. Yeah, they're not shitting for 3 hours a day. They're just shitting multiple times a day. I'm lambs. 8. Now you got a wet paw. Why are we swimming in the water bowl? These dogs have been terrorists this morning. Jesus. I'll get my auctions relisted. We'll do a quick quick napkin maths to see what the grand total was, and then I might have to take these two. I know we're literally an hour into the stream. I might have to take these pair for a quick outside bathroom break, because then they might come back in and actually chill the fuck out. I had one piece of decor for sale and it sold. Sure. Remember my oh, I'm not reading that out. That's quite funny. Literally, no word of a lie, all 3 dogs were snoring about 5 minutes before I started the stream. Yes. I would set up puppy cam on the 24/7 stream, but I don't actually think I want a 24/7 broadcast into my life. VOD, you know, I think I need to make sure that's controlled a little bit more. Another 60k? Was nobody posting their decor yesterday? What's going on? I can't have possibly claimed all of these sales. This feels greedy at this point. Right, we got what? One more? One more? Alright, last one. 2 of these accounts I don't actually sell anything on. 2 of these realms, sorry. Do we think we broke a mill? I don't think I broke a mill, but I definitely think 700-800k. I'm going to be honest. I'm slightly concerned I'm running out of stock. More so than anything else. Because obviously, every time I sell something, that's -1 to the inventory. And I haven't been buying anything the last few days, decor-wise, because of I want to see what happens in a couple of days' time with this lumber change. I don't want to go buying a bunch of stuff now for it to, like, if decor for some reason by proxy of this change tanks like 50% of its value or something, I don't want to be holding the bag too heavy. So maybe in a way it's probably a good time to not have too much stock, but alright, let's do some numbers. Last hour. Should be able to grab the numbers. Uh, 442 plus 102 plus 195 plus 161. Boom! On the dot, 900k. That's above my average. To be fair, that's actually lower. I usually break a mill on Sundays. It's lower than a Sunday day, but it's higher than average. But it's lower than a normal Sunday day, and I wonder if that's just by proxy of the fact that I now do have just less decor. but another 900k day will take. How much of this was investments and costs? My auctioning operations are set up so that I should never really. Now, obviously, over time, it's dynamic pricing, so over time prices do change. But I would go as far as to say it's probably somewhere in the region of 50 to 60% profit. Could be slightly higher. So realistically, of that 900k, I would say profit is probably 400 to 500. When are you going to choose the winners for the giveaway? On the 24/7 stream, when I will do the giveaways on the main stream, so that they're live and public, so that people, that there's footage of it, so people don't know it's a scam. Sorry, that sounded wrong, didn't it? Don't assume. Don't. Fuck. Clip that. Ship it. It's not a scam, so people don't think it's a scam. I wanted to do them publicly. I could have just drawn them offline. But yeah, we'll draw them on the live stream, and then I'll post them in the Discord so people can come and get them. It's a scam. You heard it here first. Oh, flipping hell. If by any miracle it happens and I win, don't give it to me. Give it to somebody who has less than me. I just wanted to see if I could win it for the Gamba. No, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. It was only a token gesture really to drive a few people to the channel to begin with. I do wonder. I want to do. Let me do a quick snippet of market analysis on the old decor real fast, because hang on, let me put this to like Argent Dawn. Put this somewhere where there's a shitload of stuff. Okay. Right, let's change this a little bit. Arbitrage mode, maybe. Do another search. Hello? I ran one Iron Docks. My looter pros said I made more than 3 times that. Yeah. When you've sold all 2.7 million, let me know. Yeah, I knew that wasn't going to be there. Clearly too slow. What I wanted to do is just have a little bit of a look at some of the decor. Now, and see, this is the thing that's interesting, right? Basically, any of the cheap stuff, your loot appraiser has a magic button you can use. It's called DB region sale average. Yeah. How to turn 2.7 million into 300 gold of vendor trash real fast. What was I saying? Yeah, most of the cheap stuff now is like distributed far and wide. There's not a single server. Anytime this number dips below 100% is probably only because for some weird reason it's, there's 2 listings there and one of them has been, auctions have expired or something. But for the most part, the cheap stuff is literally distributed everywhere now. But what's also quite interesting to see is that the supply of this sort of stuff hasn't really changed that much on a lot of things that I've looked at. Like when you look at the regional, the red line is what I'm interested in here. The red line is showcasing the quantity of those items available. And if you actually look at the availability line on a lot of decor, it's not constantly going up and up and up and up and up and up and up, which is what people suspected. People were like, it's going to stack so high, it's going to stack so hard, you know. But to be fair, since a couple of days after it kicked off, the actual quantity of decor for sale has been relatively steady. It's actually, it kind of goes against what most people are assuming is happening with the market, which is why decor's really interesting to me. And you can pick pretty much any item at random, and the pattern's about the same. Like in many cases, actually, you'll see that the total quantity of that decor available is decreasing, not increasing. Most people would assume that people are just farming and farming and farming and farming and farming, and that the decor is stacking up and up and up and up and up, and everybody's complaining that it's far too hard to sell. They're not making any sales, which means it must be stacking up. The competition's too high. You know, there's a huge amount of doom and gloom about a lot of it. There's been a blip here, but in the last, since the beginning of the year, normal quantity of both supply and average price. The market isn't doing what most people out there assume is happening. It's actually way more stable. Way more stable. Which is why the farming of lumber is still crazy money. I'm interested to see what's going to happen when pre-patch goes live, though. Because there were a couple of factors with pre-patch. A, there's a slight change to lumber, increasing the amount of lumber you're likely to get per hour if you're out farming it. So that's one factor to consider. The second factor is that pre-patch is the period of time that brings a lot of people back to the game. Meaning that there could be an influx of people willing to go out and farm lumber and craft decor, because up until this point, they haven't even been playing the game. Third aspect, which has just been pointed out, that Remix is ending, meaning people might actually be jumping from Remix back into retail to do some retail stuff. But on top of all of that, you have to consider that all of those people who may be turning up in the game also have an equal opportunity to be consumers of decor as well. So are they going to balance each other out? Are they going to cancel each other out? What's going to happen? Who knows? I've pushed up my minimum sale prices. I sold like 15% of my stock when I checked last night. Yeah, I'm at the point where I'm somewhat concerned that I'm running out of stock to sell, which in essence does mean I'm arguably selling it too cheap. I should probably be cranking it up a little bit higher, because the market indicates to me that it's stable enough that I don't need to panic sell it. I don't need to flip it as fast as possible. If the market's relatively stable, I'm in no rush. I can redistribute the stock to realms where it's worth more, and I can sell it a little bit slower, but sell it for a higher value. Maybe because it's not quite like the transmog mount pet economy where you just buy one and it's done. People are buying one for the XP and done, but then if you build your house, you get more budget to place it. Yeah, I mean, I don't actually list more than one piece on any one server, so I don't have any sales data whatsoever that shows somebody came along and bought 10 fences off me. And that's because I don't post 10 fences on one realm. I would rather take those 10 fences and post them on 10 different realms. But yeah, you're absolutely right. There's a very strong chance that people buy multiple. There was going to be some items, you know, chairs, shelves, like lights, where people will come along and buy a whole bunch of them in one go. Whereas pets, mounts, transmog, you are only ever buying one copy, and then you're done forever and a day. Do you think once Blizzard implements the copy or the importing house builds, people are going to start buying more stuff because they'll know for sure how much they need for a new build that they want? Yes, yes, very much so. When people get the ability to say, okay, import this room from their favorite content creator of choice, and it will if it grayscales out any items that they don't own, then they know that, well, they need to go buy this off the auction house. People who offer those imports may very likely also quote when they share the import, like, this stuff is crafted, this stuff you can get at the auction house, this stuff you have to farm yourself. They're adding a preview mode so you can put items down that you don't own to see what they look like. Should be in patch, I believe. I mean, that works in two ways. That works that people can place it, and if they like it, then go and buy it. But the other side of it also means that they can place it, go, oh no, that's ugly, and then not buy it at all. So that's a 50-50 in my books. But it's a cool addition all the same, yeah. Good snipe here. What have you been grabbing? Oh, I don't know what that is. Like, you're gonna have to translate for me. I ain't got a clue what that is. Dragonflight epic recipe for enchanting. How's 200k a good snipe? It's the illusion one. Oh, okay. I have to trust you. I don't piss around on the Russian realms because far too much like hard work. But yeah, interestingly, an awful lot of decor that I've looked at has a remarkably stable market. Look, I mean, look at this. Look at this stability. You can't ask for more stability in a market than this. This means if you bought a bunch of these cheap before Christmas, the price has basically not changed, nor has the supply of them, which means you've had weeks and weeks and weeks to flip that round and make a profit on it. Easy business. You cannot ask for a better scenario than this. What's your approach to distribute items to the realms that sell higher? Do you sell evenly for all realms, or do you check manually and set up TSM? I don't take anywhere near... I basically... I have a minimum price in my TSM that stuff can list for. If I can list it above that minimum price, it gets posted. If I can't post it for above that minimum price, it doesn't get posted and it goes back in the warbank. And then the next character tries, and the next character tries, and the next character tries. It's no more scientific than that. I tend to think a lot of micromanagement. You do not have time to micromanage stock if you want to sell on 80 realms. You have time to micromanage stock if you're only selling on like 5 realms. You can say, right, I'm going to buy this, but I'm going to sell it on this realm because that's an item that more likely will sell there. You can do that on a small scale. Micromanaging items, though, when you're trying to sell on 80 is not worth it. Have a minimum price. If you can post it above that minimum price, post it. Don't worry about the fact that you theoretically could sell it for more by listing it somewhere else. Don't worry about it. Your minimum price is there for a reason. If you get above your minimum price, you're happy. So let's say, for example, I buy something at 5k. My resale of that item, let's say, is 10k. I will withdraw that item from the war bank on a character, try and post it. If I can post it above 10k, it gets posted, happy. I don't care about the fact that I could take it to some random realm somewhere and post it for 15k. I'm not bothered. Just having it for sale on a realm is good enough as far as I'm concerned. I'm happy. I know some people approach it a slightly different way. And actually, if I was to build up my stock level, I'm concerned my stock is actually going down, not going up at the moment. If I was to build slowly over time, build up my stock, I would probably just keep it in the bags on that character and wait until I can sell it. But I'm not going to do that until I've got like at least 30, 40 of each item, really. Which is probably a long way off because while I'm enjoying flipping this decor, I'm not exactly super duper mega money bags. I don't really want to spend 10, 15 million investing in decor. Even though I kind of technically could. I'm still playing it ever so slightly cautiously because I want to make sure that I've got a fair amount of liquid gold to go into midnight. So that's my plan at least. Nickel and diming is how I end up making nothing. I just take whatever I can get. I mean, that's one way for sure, yeah. Right, I think we're done with the main realms now, though. I think it's time to hop on the old Beta Rooney. Considering the stream title and everything is that we're testing profession builds. But we got to get the auctions listed first thing anyway. So let's get the beta up and running. Do we have a profession that people want to look at first for the purpose of like building things? Please don't say enchanting because I'm not doing enchanting first. Because enchanting is going to require a little bit more time. Cooking, you funny. I would do alchemy, but Goldson took quite a detailed look at alchemy the other day. You can go check his VOD if you haven't seen it. I was even lurking in his stream and chipping in with my 2 cents as well. Another day on jewel crafting. There's a few suspecting Alma Lama. Please hold. stupid dogs. Oh, she peed on the damn rug. Off the sofa, Sulla. Off. Literally 20 minutes ago, I said I need to finish posting my auctions and then take them out for a pee. I didn't listen to my own advice, did I? So, 10k DKP minus. It was one of those moments, yes. Right. We need to go to the end game realms. Intuition always wins. I wish it did. He caught the dog buying all his decor on a second account. If only. We have our max build tunes. We have our leveling tunes. Now we need to make some build characters. Did we decide we were going to do jewel crafting? Since it's the one that is like not enchanting but might have some concentration value. Let's have a little look, shall we? Prism Conch. What does it look like to get the prisms up and running? Maybe that's a good place to start. I should probably be jotting all of this down. Yeah, there's if we start by looking at a couple of concentration builds, because I know they're going to be of great interest to a lot of people, then I'm also interested in obviously finding out like what full build opportunities there are. Prospecting is clearly going to be a favourite. Quite a lot of points for prospecting this time round to actually go full build. But of course, you're probably only going to want to prospect 2, maybe 3. Oh my!
Pretty trinkets.
Yeah. Pretty trinkets. Whew.
Champion, Zalatath and her devouring host lay siege to the
Oh, I switched that off.
I
I thought I changed it so all add-ons were off by default. Sorry. Rip eardrums. It was not my intention.
I've been expecting you.
Right. JC, go.
We shall meet again.
Where's the cheat bag of knowledge points? Oh, you can't use these until you're 15 points deep. Why have they done that? Why have they done that? Beats the object. Okay, whatever. So yeah, jewel crafting I already know has prisms as something that you might be interested in from a concentration perspective. We do not get kaleidoscopic prisms until when? Jewel crafting 40. So that at least creates some element of barrier to entry to this. Meaning you're going to need 40 skill points in the profession. Now, do you cheese your way there? Or do you try and get... Well, you're going to want to get there as optimally as possible. When we get there, are we going to need anything to make this more efficient? I'm not sure that there's really much of anything that we're going to need to do first other than get this to skill 40. Fortunately for me, I have leveling builds. All of the professions, don't I? Where's the jewel crafting box thing? For reference, actually, we were looking at the leveling builds a little bit on stream the other day, and it took me way too long to do the first couple. But I went off and I did the rest of them off stream. So they are, for the most part,
Glad I could help.
roughly done. I say roughly because this is nothing more than a first draft. But my profession leveling guides document is getting there. We have most professions covered, at least a little bit already. Buy gems off the auction house to complete this. Prospecting yourself will be more expensive. If you plan on leveling a few Jewel Crafters, it's worthwhile leveling up a prospecting spec one first. Okay, I don't have estimated materials yet, but 1 to 15, you got to do some prospecting anyway. Then you make a few gems, then you make a few gems, then you make a few gems. So it's literally this section here that you're going to need to do on your Jewel Crafters if you wish to do prisms, because you've got to get to skill 40.
Welcome.
So, let's grab boxes of rocks for starters. We got some mats. Where's the box of rocks? It's a Herbie job, isn't it? This will give us some Q1 mats. Let's try and get some round number mats. 500 of each would be nice. So we know what we're working with.
May the eternal sun shine upon thee.
There's a real arse about way of getting rank 1 materials, but it's better than nothing. Why have I got so little silver?
Peace, friend.
Rocks. What professions would you pair? Would pair well with a prospect or a concentration prism Jewel Crafter? I think if you're going to do a concentration character, you just want 2 concentration spec professions.
Walk with the earth, mother.
Because you want to be able to log on to that character, go to one workbench, craft something, go to another workbench, craft something, put it in the war bank, log off. That's what you're kind of going to need to do with a concentration character. If concentration holds any value at all, which is still 50-50 at this point in my opinion, but...
I have just the thing for you.
Yeah, you were probably going to want your crafters that actually do something important on separate characters, really.
Go in peace.
It's already sort of partly understood that those characters that are going to be designated concentration characters probably are going to have enchanting as one and then something else. Everybody's kind of questioning what the something else is going to be. There's something else you can spread about though. Have some Jewel Crafters, have some Jewel Crafters, have some like alchemists, something else.
Greetings, traveler.
There's a little bit of ore that's at least enough ore to pay attention to what we started with and what we had. Prospecting, deadly peridots, versatile peridots, 3 versatile amethysts is actually all we need. There's literally no other way to start jewel crafting other than prospecting. It would be really nice if there was an alternative, but we don't even get the vial until skill 5. So you have to get at least 5. Let's assume we're breaking down. You need at least 4 crafts of this to get 5 skill points. If you haven't done the cooking leveling guide yet, it's easy. Spiced biscuits, once that's great, turn those biscuits with hearty food to hit 100. All reagents required. All the reagents required are vendor items. I mean, if that's the case, you can write. That makes cooking so mega boring. I might even not bother doing a guide on it. That's outrageous. That's good to know, though. Thank you. I hadn't got to cooking yet. No. Glass and stone. The problem you're going to have is crafting any vials whatsoever, unless you can max them, is entirely pointless, because these literally are never going to be worth anything more than what they cost to buy off a vendor. So, yeah. Maybe we prospect a little bit more ore, because at least then the ore can be used for something. Now, we can either stop here with the prospecting. Because at the moment, all we've actually generated is 1 gem and a random ass bunch of throwaway mats. Which means that first bit of prospecting is just at a cost to you. 45 copper. 45 copper's basically gone in the bin. 45 copper's in the bin. I think the best plan for jewel crafting concentration alts is to buy just a handful of gems, and at this point just craft the things that are needed. Because the likelihood is that Q1 of these and quality 1 glimmering gem dust won't be more than the cost of 5. The combined cost of this isn't going to be more than the cost of 5 pieces of ore. Or is it? Jewel crafting is eating up resources fast, trying to plan out the leveling path. Well, yeah, it's pretty solid and pretty straightforward up until skill 40. It's from 40 onward. Well, 40 to 65, it's actually dead easy. But from 65 onwards, it's expensive. But you're not going to need to do that if you're on a concentration alt. You only need skill 40. Now I think we need enough gems to push this to, if we do 6 of these... no, 8 of these... No, I am going to follow the leveling path as normal. So we take this to 15. Whatever this takes to get this to 15. Probably 14 crafts. Oh, it goes green at 13. Okay. Prospecting till 13. Already making an amendment. Did it go green at 13 or did it go green at 12? I'm going to assume it went at 13. 13 to 25 is then 6 deadly parrots. Need the mats for that. So 13 crafts, 12 times 5, 60 ore. This gives me an opportunity to put the materials together as well. 60 cheapest ore. $60 of the cheapest ore. This is going to be, if we then do we can't do deadly period because we don't have it until 15. That's why I pushed it all the way to 15. Do we just create the 2 vials to get 13 to 15? Which profession is the hardest one to get knowledge points for in Midnight? Might be alchemy, since you have to spend moxie for the recipes and there's not a lot of recipes. The hardest one to get knowledge points for, they're all pretty much exactly the same. Yes, you're right, with alchemy it has the least first time craft bonus opportunity. But all alchemists will be competing against each other in that regard, so it's +1, -1, it doesn't matter. There's the same amount of treasures, there's the same knowledge point books, there's the same amount of weekly treasures. That side of stuff is all pretty much exactly the same. It's only first time craft bonuses that will make a difference. But at that point you're only competing against other people that have also got that in that same scenario, so I actually think that crafting the 2 going to 13 and then 2 vials up to 15 is a better play here. From a cost perspective, obviously with concentration ults, you've got to make shit just cheap. You know, you absolutely don't want shit to be expensive. Cheap is the name of the game. So I think we go from skill 13 to 15 by making 2 times sunglass vials. Should have the materials for that from first initial bit of prospecting. Ten times crystalline glass. 10 times crystalline glass and 2 dusk. Dusk shrouded stone. Where do you think we'll get our glimmering gem dust from? For jewel crafting, you get it from crushing. You get it from crushing. You crush up gems. Concentration ults are not going to be what you don't have to worry about being self-sufficient. Concentration ults is about speed and efficiency. So all of this, you'll have a shopping list that you need for each concentration ult. If you know you're having 10 concentration ults, you buy 10 times the amount on the shopping list. You put all of those materials in the war bank, and then you just go. You level them up. You do the exact same thing on all of the ults. You bang them out. This is why you preferably want a relatively steady, consistent leveling path to get the recipe that you're interested in, and you want to do nothing more, nothing less. Once you've done it, you move on to the next character. So that'll take you to 15 in a deterministic way. There is definitely room to say that you only prospect for the first few points and then you just make some of this. But at the moment, that also works. Then with your Deadly Lapis recipe, you even don't want to buy all of the recipes. For example, you only want to buy the recipe from the trainer, which is the recipe that you absolutely need to craft. Because these recipes are 100 gold a piece. You spend 100 gold on a recipe you're not going to use, then you're already minus 100 gold. Absolute definition of like minimum building where possible. Deadly Lapis, well, Deadly Periot is the one I recommend, not for any reason other than just I picked one off the list, but it's either one of any one of these really. That's 15, that's 5 Deadly Periots, which is 5. What are they called? Harandar Peridots. Wait, have they changed their name? Five Harandar Peridot and 5 Glimmering Gem Dust. Now, obviously, I'm taking quite a risk here as well, by the way, in that all of these leveling paths might change, but what can you do? You can only do what you can do at this point. Where's all the gems and stuff?
Looking for something special?
Should have picked up all those mats at the beginning. 5 of those. That takes you up to skill 25. Where do we think we'll be getting the bulk of our gem dust from? I'm still not sure I understand. The only source of gem dust is via crushing. You will be predominantly crushing, I would imagine, the normal quality basic gems. One change with crushing is that you cannot crush cut gems this time round, which was a nice recycle mechanic in a way. This time, anything that is cut is kind of finalized. You can't crush it down. So, like these, for example, you can't then crush them. They just, you know, you got to sell them or vendor them. Which is a
just the thing.
Unnecessary change, in my opinion.
May the eternal sun
But
shine upon thee.
it's technically simpler. I hate the fact that they've tried to simplify these professions, you know. I hate it a lot. You're certainly not going to learn all of the recipes. I'm breaking my own rules here, but versatile peridots, we then make these. Is that exactly the same again? Exactly the same materials again, 5 of each. 5 more of a gem, 5 more dust. That'll get us to 35. And we need to get to 40 to get the prism. And so you make 3 of these. Get you to 41 actually, in fact, but that's good enough. Then we need 3. That's 3 tenebrous amethysts. Three tenebrous amethyst and 3. And boom, hey presto, you now have your prism recipe. So that is everything that you then need
Walk with the earth, mother.
to start banging these out. I don't have... Oh, flipping hell. I can't get these easily. I can, but I have to process for these. Right, but okay, that means that there's a very simple, very straightforward shopping list for junk crafting prospecting alts, at least. 60 of the cheapest ore. $10 crystalline glass. 2 dusk shrouded stone. What ends up being 10 of these peridot things. Ten peridots. 3 tenebrous amethysts. And then a splattering of glimmering gem dust. For the purpose of concentration, we need 5, 10, 13. So yeah. That then becomes your jewel crafting shopping list for concentration. Sorry, assuming you're building towards the kaleidoscopic prism. They're the materials you need to unlock the prism recipe in the first place. From that point on, you don't really need anything else. You can start using concentration to craft it. What we do need is I need some... This character needs some... Let me log on to my other Runecrafter, see if I've got any of those gems knocking about. Quickly grab some. Max build, Runecrafter. Any yield difference between crushing blue and... I've not looked at like the prospecting or crushing yields and stuff yet. That's on my list to do, but is something I plan to do a lot closer to the launch. As it's the one thing that is most likely to change. If anything does change. I've got a few quality 1 gems knocking about here. Let me just quickly make some more. reagent bag's not big enough. Why am I not just smushing down flipping thorium at the moment? Bit of a shame non-gathering professions can't benefit from the abundance event. Oh, they can. They can. They buy the material bags. I have a suspicion that if anybody wishes to test this thoroughly, that those material bags could be quite valuable. For the fact that the abundance is a 3-minute minigame. I think there's a good chance that doing your abundance runs might be a nice, solid little earner. Well, that should be enough at least for some basic testing. Let me slam some of those in the war bank. Yeah, I'm still pretty convinced you're going to want to be doing your abundance runs. They don't benefit the same way in terms of, like, you know, there's no free knowledge points or anything, but it definitely does feel like Midnight is setting itself up to be very focused or very beneficial to be gathering, more so than these past expansions.
Keep it real.
For those that don't know what's an abundance run, abundance is a little mini game. It's a 3-minute long mini game where you run through, kill a bunch of stuff, collect a bunch of things, turn it in. The better you do at it, the more points you get. The more points you get, the more currency you get. That currency can be then, you know, collected and traded in for certain things. What's the diving thing for? I've not looked at that. I saw K-Chat doing the diving thing on his stream, and it bored me to absolute death, even watching it for 4 minutes, so I haven't bothered to go and figure that one out yet. Although I arguably should. I'm not convinced it was quicker to go and make those gems on my main character than it was to just stand here and do it on this character anyway, but...
Be careful out.
I was like, well, a full build jewel crafter should do the whole job faster, but could have just done it myself. Prisms. Lowest quality everything. Oh, you know I don't have is low quality dust. Of course I don't. Ha! 3 high quality diamonds when crushed gives you 1 glimmering gem dust. Ah! You weren't never going to crush diamonds. Oh. There was me thinking I'll slam those in the cooker. That'll be a nice that'll be a nice result. Maybe not. I still, like I said, I still think a lot of prospecting and crushing has a lot of fixes for its quote unquote ready. Remember nullstones tanking in price? I wonder at what point you should swap to prospecting them to save time. I don't know. 467 concentration with a day 1-0 build. 467 concentration. That's one craft every 2 days. One craft every 2 days. But it also means you're incentivized to very quickly get in, get to skill 40 and press the button. No knowledge points, no tools, no nothing needed. 40 points, get the recipe, press the button. 467, you get two from a full bar. Looks like the skill tree points for crushing will only help with quality. It cranks the trees with no tools and still just minimum rank max proc of 3. Yeah, I think so. Like I said, I very, very, very heavily suspect that prospecting and crushing is still work in progress. How much skill to get it to 333 concentration? That's a good experiment. That's a good experiment, yeah, because once you can get it to 333, you crank out an entire bonus prism. Up until that point, it's concentration that will likely go to waste. 500, then 333 are the, like, break points, yeah. So this is your minimum build. I need to start jotting some of this stuff down. I want to have a... I'm going to put all of this info in one document, I think. Make a copy. Holy shit, the bed that scared the life out of me. That's really loud in my ears. Chosen, welcome in. Thank you very much for the raid. I appreciate it. Welcome in. Thank you for bringing you and your crew with. Were you still farming lumber? Or did you sack that one off after your computer went boom? Nine druids looked far too much like hard work for me. A goblin guide to concentration. Jula crafting. Jewel crafting. Kaleidoscopic. How do you spell kaleidoscopic? Jesus. Kaleidoscopic prism build. Okay. You need only the... Okay. Do we do conch builds in 3 stages? Do we do 3-stage builds for concentration? The absolute day 1-0 build, which is what does it actually take you to get the recipe? Because that's technically all you need, right? All you actually need is the recipe. Once you've got the recipe, you can come along and you can press the button. You don't need this bar, you don't need none of this, you don't need none of those. Once you've got the recipe, you're good to go, technically. Now, of course, your concentration isn't going to go very far with a day 1-0 build. Do we do a day 1-0 build? Do we do an advanced build? And then do we do a max build? Which you'll have to cost up undecided when you transition from one to another, if you do at all. Some people, like, this is going to be one of those things with concentration. It's going to depend heavily how many characters you got. You got 200. If you're running into midnight with 200 characters, you don't ever want to be doing anything more than 0 builds, because you've just got too much work to do in the first place. You do day 1 0 builds for all of them, get the recipe, and start cranking them out. If you choose to then at a later date level up a little bit more, get some profession tools and accessories, get some knowledge points, then that's up to you. But I greatly feel that for most people there won't really ever be a need to transition to anything more than a 0 build. Do you think Prism Q2 will be harder to get than Q2 Gem Dust or Q2 Stones? Why do you think the Prism would be harder to get? Well, by proxy that it uses Gem Dust in the first place. Quality 2 Gem Dust is only going to come from prospectors that are prospecting Quality 2 ore, which means it's going to be more expensive, and so then it will be more expensive. The way crushing works, like, you've got to be really good as a prospector, you've got to have a max build in prospecting, and you've got to be crushing high quality gems with high quality stone in order to get high quality dust out. So there will be a price difference between normal and high quality gem dust for sure, just because the process of creating it requires so much, which is why the Prism is a good, very good candidate for concentration, because concentration benefits from there being a price difference between the normal and the high quality mats, which Glimmering Gem Dust will be one of those. And the fact that it uses 10 of them means whatever the price difference is, let's say there's, 100 gold difference between normal and a high quality gem dust, multiply that by 10, that means you're saving 1,000 gold, the crafting cost, by using concentration instead. Not to mention the difference between these gems as well. There may not be as much difference between normal and high quality gems, but there absolutely should be a substantially bigger difference between the gem dust, with just how the process of getting the gem dust in the first place is. Which is why this is going to be one of the most valuable crafts for concentration. This and the diamonds. The diamond cuts are the only other valid use of concentration, but look what's going on over here. You're looking at a full bar of concentration to make 1 diamond, which is a bit of an ouch. You mean you can make 1 diamond at high quality every 4 days? Woo! Spicy. The epics also require quality 2 gem dust and quality 2 stones in higher quantities. I think concentration in prospecting or crushing in order to get the quality 2 dust and stones may be better concentration per point ratio. You got to remember that prospecting and crushing is random. You're not even guaranteed to get the gems, right? It's real gamba at that point. If you're using concentration on tin ore here, for example, you could press this button, you could spend 400 concentration, and you could not get a gem. Sure, you'll get high quality dust and stones, but dust and stones will be a byproduct anyway. when fully spec'd prospectors come along and they prospect, I get what you mean. The maths just doesn't make sense to me in my head, at least. It's difficult to do the maths without actually having material prices for everything. But more often than not, the best use of concentration is on the finished product, not on the intermediates. And with prospecting being like full-on RNG, whether you even get what you're looking for out of it, it feels hyper risky. How long will it take to get full spec prospecting and crushing then? Ready for season 1? 100 points, probably not even that, 90 points. Whatever, 30 plus 30 plus 90 points. So, yeah. Before raid launch. Bottleneck in the epics will be the Q2 dust and stones, not the prisms. You talking about when you're referring to like when people come along and they actually use, when they're making the gear. I mean, when these things and whatever. The point is that people are going to come along and they're going to need the high quality kaleidoscopic prism. I don't think stones or glass is going to be an issue because, like I said, glass and stones is a byproduct from prospecting in the first place. People will be prospecting high quality. What will happen is high quality ore will be being processed en masse by fully set up prospectors in order to get diamonds. The value will be in the high quality diamonds. That is what will force most people to prospect high quality ore. It'll be a way to get high quality diamonds. That will mean that all of the surplus gems and everything else that comes from fishing for diamonds will have to go somewhere, but it will stack up. The prism is the clear candidate for me as the item that is used. A prism is needed for every single meta gem. A prism is also needed in the rings and the necklaces, which we historically know are very popular because they are useful for everybody. They're not necessarily the first bits of gear that people pick up. Most people pick up weapons first. But rings and necks are strong candidates for literally every single character that's pushing their gear. Most people will end the season with a crafted ring or a necklace or something. I see what you mean. I am not convinced the maths will work in that favour. I think the best use of your concentration with jewel crafting will be the prism. But there are other candidates. In theory, yes, you could use it on prospecting, and it's a bit of gamba. But I think the price of the other materials will make it not that lucrative to do. Is my take, at least. Mentions gem shavings after performing a gem cut, which can be crushed for gem dust. Have they... See, that's where I don't think those have even been implemented yet. This is the thing. This is the problem we have with professions at the moment. There's lots of stuff I feel that hasn't properly been implemented or finished. How long could it take to reach full crushing prospecting? 6 weeks? No. People will have it done before the raid opens. People will have it done before the raid opens. 90 points is not out of the... You get 50-ish points plus first-time crafts, like, day one. If you can get the rep. Which, if you do the campaign, you'll be renown 5, 6 with most of the factions. Anyway, I'm way off track. I'm meant to be focusing on how we build this one either way. I think I'm going to do a minimum build and a maximum build. I don't think I'm going to worry too much about anything in the middle. So like a day one. Day 1-0 build. Get the recipe is literally all we are trying to do. Get the recipe. Uh, 40 skill is all that is needed. Day 1-0 build. Get the recipe. 40 skill. Follow the jewel crafting leveling guide. To skill 40. Done. This consists of... where's my material list? Max build. Hive mind stream when? I'm not going to be going for the hive mind, I don't think. I'm not going to do anywhere near enough farming, and apparently you get dismounted all the same right now. Quality 2 stone will be thousands of gold in week 1 to 2. There is there's both the stone and the glass always has an interesting, like, it flips. The value of it flips, and the reason it tends to flip is that alchemy consumes humongous amounts of glass before the raid comes out. Because all of the alchemists prepping and planning and, you know, pushing, then it tends to flip on its head thereafter because the interest from alchemists dies down and the stone goes into other stuff. But from what I've seen so far, I'm still very, very convinced that both stone and glass will be far more abundant than what it'll actually be needed because people will be prospecting way more than they need to in order to hunt down these gems. These diamonds, sorry. This is the big thing that makes prospecting different to what we had in the War Within. You were never prospecting in order to get, like, one big, fancy, expensive thing in the War Within. You were often prospecting because the gems themselves had value, or you were smushing everything down into dust and then the dust had value. This is more like a Dragonflight style experience, where you're going to do whatever the hell you can possibly do with all of the raw gems and the stone and the glass, but the value from prospecting will rest very heavily on the diamonds, I think, for the first few weeks. Which means everything else will end up being just like sell it for whatever the hell you can get for it. You going for 250 million first? Damn. Yeah, I think there's a day one build here. There's also a cheap optimized build. You can go from absolutely 0 to green tools up here off the auction house, plus an enchant on them. You would want to stack multicraft, by the way. The stat, you want a multicraft tool. Full multi-craft tool. What else are you going to need? Full multi-craft tool and probably profession treasures, which is... How many knowledge points is that? 24 points, which you would then want to look at distributing in whatever way helps bring this number down as much as possible. Kaleidoscopic prism, where is it gaining this from? Is it benefiting from glamorous gem tree? One skill when cutting midnight gems per point. You're going to want to put your points in here, aren't you? Because it gives you flat skill towards this, which will bring you closer. Because it would be nice, it was pointed out earlier, it would be nice if you could get that below 333. That means you'd guarantee at least one extra craft every full bar. Dazzling Thorium drops the Eversong diamonds really fast. Yeah, but it's going to be ludicrously expensive. Dazzling Thorium's basically a null stone. Just think about how expensive null stones will be in comparison to other ore. The likelihood of you prospecting Dazzling Thorium's very slim. I mean, it's all maths. If the maths works, you do it, but like the chance is very slim that the maths will work in its favor. How many first-time crafts? Like 15 or so. Prospecting builds are not going to get... I mean, I've only got four knowledge points from first-time crafts. You're probably not going to have much. Profession treasures. You want to do the rep. The Renowned Knowledge Book. Who does Jewel Crafting's Renowned Knowledge Book? Where's the button gone? Oh, Renowned 6 usually. Skinning, mining, leatherworking. Alchemy, blacksmithing, engineering. Herbalism, inscription. Silver moon then. Okay. Down 6 with silver moon. That's 10 knowledge points. That gives you 34 knowledge points to play with. When I click the giveaway link, it says the Twitch channel does not exist. Huh? What? It should look like this. should look like this. Or the link in the Discord. Let me double check. Link works for me. I'm not sure. Not sure. I will look a bit deeper later. I'll have a look later. You won't be getting diamonds day one. You'd be surprised what people can do. I haven't looked at what the full prospecting build is. I'm clearly not doing this in order. I should have looked at what the prospecting build is first, shouldn't I? Because that then helped me answer these questions. I'm pretty sure you'll have diamonds day one. You'll see them. Because you just won't get high quality diamonds very quickly or very easily. But this is the point, right? This is where concentration comes in. Concentration only needs normal quality diamonds. But you've also got to ask yourself the question, who on day one of the expansion is going to want to buy a high quality diamond for a helm to go in a socket that they don't have gear for yet, right? This is the risk with jewel crafting. The first 2-3 weeks concentration value is very heavily in the prisms, because the prisms are used in enough things that people may want. The prisms are used. The prisms are used by all the people who are crafting the diamonds probably before they should. Additionally, leveling jewel crafting to max might require people to craft a whole bunch of diamonds. So yeah, they will sell quite tastily, I imagine. Right, let's get... so 24 points for the profession treasures, 10 knowledge points from your renowned book. That's 34 knowledge points to spend, which my guesstimation is the best value to put them in is 30 points in here, because it's going to give you skill towards the recipe, which will hopefully help push this number down. I don't know if it's even possible to get this below 333. Let me look at my max jewel crafter and see if it's even possible. If it's not possible, there's no point spending points on trying. I suspect the better play would then be to get as much multi-craft as you can get your hands on instead. Because every proc of multi-craft is like cash money. Yeah, you can't get it below 333 ever. So there's actually no point trying. You might be able to exchange out the gems. Okay, if you exchange out the gems for high quality gems instead, you can get it below 333. In fact, you are wildly close to getting it below 250, which is your next breakpoint. That's where a cheeky freebie could even be possible. A 9-1 ratio. 9-1 ratio and 4 high quality gems in here. This is much later down the line, but that gives you a potential 4 crafts per bar. And by the time you're able to get it here as well, you will also have the possibility for up to 35% multicraft on that as well. Finishing reagents another option, yeah. But you can never, ever, 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 ever really get more than 4 crafts of this from concentration. Because you got to remember, dual crafters that like fully spec also have the ability to do this, but they'll be getting 3 or 4 crafts. Dedicated concentration builds will be doing just 2 crafts. But the fact that 2 crafts costs you basically nothing in setup. Yeah, eventually you, in theory, could probably get 4 crafts out of a full bar, but by the time you've got the ability to get 4 crafts out of a full bar, you probably won't care about it anyway. Multicraft is absolutely king. So much so, in fact, if you have them, you might throw multicraft manifolds at these as well. Depending on what these end up costing. I don't have any to hand, but an additional 90 multicraft is absolutely ludicrous, by the way. That will push 35% to like nearly 50. It just depends what value those things will have anyway. They might not add more value than they cost. Especially since it only increases your chance for something to happen. Does Profession Gear need Moxie or not? We don't know yet. It's not on Profession Gear, but we all suspect that it does need it. We just don't know for sure. What am I looking for here? Oh, so many just distracted by squirrels. What? Literally. Oh, yeah. I know what was those multicraft manifolds. No, that's not it. It looked like it and it wasn't. Swear they're on this vendor. Oh, they're stupid wireframes again. What? Where have they gone?
Have a good one.
Greetings.
Can you not buy these for testing?
What brings you here?
Did I zoom past them? I think I must have done. Resourceful. There we go. Did zoom past them. Yeah, I don't know what these things are going to end up being worth, or how readily available they will be. But if you happen to have them, 35 up to 43%. Woo! Nearly flip a coin of whether you get a multicraft. Almost. This is why you stack multicraft to the hills. It was the same logic why you stacked in Ingenuity last time. But multicraft is more potent than Ingenuity. Ingenuity just gives you the chance to press the button again. Multicraft has the chance of giving you like 4 of them. I mean, you would basically look at doing this. You would you'd do that so you could get 4 crafts. And then if you had 4 of these, you'd be able to then hopefully get 4 crafts of a prism from a full bar. Why do I not have a full bar of concentration?
If you ever need anything.
Give me a full bar just for science. So you'd full bar it, and you would just pray that on one of your 4 chances, boom, multicraft. From the word go. Oh, I haven't got enough low quality gem dust to test any further. That's annoying. Didn't calculate that right. Can't buy quality 1 gem dust, can I? Please hold. Give me some more gems.
I have just the thing for you. Goodbye.
Ooh, I need like 40 or something. Oh, I've already done one, so it's only no more than 30. Never lucky. Never lucky. Another multi-craft. We did get our 50% multi-craft. Oh, wait, what? Why did it spit out? Did I run out of gem dust? What happened there? Oh, I ran... Oh, fucking hell. Whatever. Yeah, the point still stands. Stack multi-craft. We went from... So the difference between a full build concentration crafter on these and a day 1 0 build. Day 1 0 build is going to get 2 crafts with basically no chance of multi-craft whatsoever. A full build is going to have 43% multi-craft from the same bar of concentration. Where I would have got 6 instead of 2. No one wants diamonds day 1. Yeah, the likelihood is that they're not going to be of any use to anybody really until the raid is open and people have got gear, and the helm at that, which means they need a very specific piece of gear, I think. In fact, do they only go in the helms, or do they go in anything? Are they classed as meta gems, or are they just equip 1 gems? Oh, they're equipped. What? They're unique equips. So okay, you just need somebody to have a gem socket, which might not happen straight away. Multi-craft tool, multi-craft enchant. Full multi-craft tool with full multi-craft enchant. Profession treasures. 8 times profession treasures in the renowned book is going to give you 34 knowledge, of which my suspicion is that you're probably going to want to push multi-craft and not bonus skill. Concults will be making those meta gems, in my opinion. Yeah, the diamonds will predominantly come from concentration alts, yeah. Or at least there will be some pretty heavy downward pressure on the price because of the concentration alts doing it. The best place for your points, though, if you do go out there and grab yourself the profession treasures and the knowledge point book, that's really annoying. You need 5 points in there, then you go outrageous output, because you are better off You are significantly better off pushing for multicraft, maxing out multicraft. And if you ever want to go any further than that, you can go further than that. But 24, 34, plus a few first-time crafts. So you're going to have about 40 knowledge points roughly to spend, which gets you your 5 points in here. You're going to unlock thorough throughput. Flipping hell. 5 points in there to unlock a spec tree. The only way I can simulate actually is by just using the cheat item.
We shall meet again.
You'll put 5 points in there to unlock a sub-spec, and then you'll stack up outrageous output. 2 multicraft points per point in this spec. Multicraft grants up to 10% additional items. You want this node full. And then you go full 30 points in here. That will then give you 10% multicraft. It's not a lot, but it's also cost you nothing. That's the whole point. It's going to cost you nothing to do other than a bit of time to fly around and pick up some treasures and go get a renowned book. So for 0 additional cost, you can get 10% multicraft. I guess a green profession tool. Who makes the profession tools for dual crafting?
Ancestors watch.
Don't we make our own? Sindori clampers. Engineering.
May the stars guide you. Goddess.
I don't want to have to level up an engineer just to get a green tool. That feels really unnecessary. Any engineers? Well, I'll tell you what I can do. I can slam it out for a public order and just hope.
Greetings.
58 of a random stat, 8 skill, 79 of a random stat. You're at a significant level of cost. Soul Sprocket and an Evercore.
Be careful.
Time is money, friend. Hurry back.
I am honored. Good luck, friend.
I might see if I can go snag that myself. Easier way of doing it. Ah, fuck, it's not even the right character. Stuff's not going my way. The fact you need to be a blood elf to guarantee these 10 enchants. That's because the Haranir. That's because there's a node on the Haranir side that doesn't give you the skill it says it's meant to give you the skill. It's a bug. It's a bug. If you look through every single one of those recipes, there's a Haranir one. It's because the spec tree doesn't give you the points it claims. There's no need to be Blood Elf. That is assuming they fix the bug. I'm going to assume bugs will get fixed. Crazy assumption, I know, but... Oh. Somebody's filled me order. I was too slow. God, I hope they did it properly. Ready for release, no changes needed. Yeah. Well, we were already hoping, weren't we, that we were going to get the build. Boom, there we go. Oh, I didn't specify the missive on it. Fuck. Thank you, whoever this is, Alchemy Engineer. I've completely balls that up. Did it even give me the option to put a missive on that? I don't think it did it? Meaning I'm going to have to make a few of these myself.
Moon be with you.
No, jewel crafting tool. No, there wasn't even the option to put a missive on this. Mother... Got to RNG it. Yeah, clearly. Man, the... engineering? Not the leveling character. Alright, just do that a few times. For the RNG. Should have done this to begin with. One more for good luck.
Till next we meet.
No, I'm deliberately not using the blue tool. Because the blue tool will be expensive. Which is against the goal of a concentration crafter. It'll be cheaper to buy a green tool off the auction house and put an enchant on it than it will be to buy the blue. At least very early on. If they keep the transmute motes new setup without putting any cooldown down, the game's going to break. So let's hope these bugs get fixed. Yeah, you can... Yeah, infinite motes is not something we need, is it? That's a good way to make them cost nothing. I can't even use a missive here, look. We do genuinely just have to RNG it. Crafting speed. Stupid game. Resourcefulness. Stupid game. Insufficient reagents. What the flipping hell?
What do you want? I can't attack that target. Pleasure doing business with ya.
Crafting speed. Stupid game. God, this is hard work. Just to see what the stats come out. Ingenuity. Stupid game. Don't make me go back and send more. Oh, fuck. Last chance. Oh, why do we play this Gamba? I was like, surely out of 6 crafts, I'll get 1 with multi-craft. Yay! Finally. Finally. Right, I need a can of Coke. Some days, you know, I just cannot get over how cute these dogs are. Look at that boy. Look at him. He's my little coyote. He's going to wake up when I open this can, though. See? My little coyote. My black panther. And then, over the far side, Amalams, who is praying to the water bowl. I know I'm ever so slightly biased because they're my dogs, but... Right, let's go grab those tools then. Item was not found. Also not what we want. Crafting speed, resourcefulness, crafting speed, ingenuity, resourcefulness, multi-craft. There we go. Put you on. How does that change it? Does it give it more juice? That put us up to 18% multi-craft. That's beefy. That's real beefy just for the tool. Oh, we haven't even put an enchant on it.
Got anything for
You
me?
will, in theory, want the best enchant. Now, see, this is where it's difficult. You're, in theory, going to want the best enchant, but the best enchant will probably be expensive. But for science, what does the best enchant offer me in terms of stats? Enchant tool, multi-craft. Oh, the best enchant's an extra 30. Does anybody know what the normal quality enchant gives?
Be quick. Be clever.
I could, in theory... Oh, one of the profession accessories is going to have multi-craft on it as well, isn't it? They stagger the stats, so you'll only actually need one of these. You'll only need to spend on one of these. What's the stats look like on the
How may I help?
green tools? Do you need both of them? Silver Moon loops, multi-craft and ingenuity. Damn, they've staggered it. You do kind of then want both of these. Because the resourcefulness is, you know, useful. It's useful enough that it's worth getting. Crafting speed nobody cares about, but the resourcefulness and the multi-craft... I was hoping resourcefulness and multi-craft would have been on the same one. They're not. What does it state it to be? Plus... Wowhead claims it to be plus 15 on the normal quality one. Plus 30 on the high quality one. Jewel crafters make these themselves, and the apron is made by leatherworking. What we learning? We're looking at jewel crafting from the perspective of like a concentration build. What does it need? What does it take? Monthly leatherworking. Monthly leatherworking for one of those. And... the JC for one of those.
Illuminate your path.
Max build, tool crafting. Rank 1 to rank 2 is an extra 1.36% multi-craft. Okay, in that case then it's not really worth, is it then to it's not worth to spend the extra at the beginning to put a high quality one on it.
Looking for something special?
Q5, go. Boom. No, now for leatherworking. The chances are that, you know, a normal quality one will be like 1,500 gold, then a high quality one will be like double that. So I don't think it's going to be worth particularly. Because obviously your goal really, if you are going to spend any money on your concentration crafters, is to spend as little as humanly possible. That way you get the quickest turnaround profit. What I might also do is I can craft a bunch of those enchants and throw them in the war bank. If I'm doing this, there's a very strong chance I'm going to need a bunch of them. So, might not be a terrible idea to make some already. That way I don't have to bounce around characters every time I need one. Okay. Chant tool. Aranir multicraft. I need sterling alloys. From you. One thing I really should have done as well is just put 1,000 of every material in my war bank. That way I'd have never needed to use these flipping vendors.
Be careful.
But I've slowly learnt who's got what and where and why, so... Just make a few of them real quick. Oh, this gives me a good opportunity to showcase that you do not need concentration to craft these at max quality, that it's a bug. The spec tree in question is this one, and it's this node. This node doesn't give you the points it claims it to. This node here, because it doesn't give you the ability to use finishing reagents, nor does it give you the skill. If this node here, the 0-point node, for Haranir heightening, actually worked, everything would be fine. Because if you look, how do you spell it? Haranir. Any of the Haranir ones are like a few points short. All because that one node doesn't work. And you'll also notice a lot of them, you can't use the finishing reagents. That's the big telltale that node is broken. I have reported it. If everybody else logs on to their enchanters and also reports it, it might actually get fixed. That also annoyingly makes it difficult to craft a bunch of these at high quality. Put in the bank as well. Oh, no, I don't need to craft the high-quality ones. The high-quality ones can be bought from the vendor. Right, let's go slam those in the war bank then. You think the raid opens a bit too late, almost 4 weeks into the expansion? Eh?
Well, spit it out.
It's 10 days. Season 1 kicks off in 10 days. You have a few days of early access and then 1 week, and then the raid starts. Season opens. Unless I've misunderstood something.
Go get him, champ.
There is a 1 week stagger between until Mythic Week starts. I hope I haven't got that wrong. It's even 10 days is going to feel like a flipping forever. At the beginning of an expansion, when you're playing 18 hours a day, like 10 days, when you've got 100+ hours under your belt and the season hasn't even started yet, then it's like, Jesus, can we just we get going, please?
Yeah? What do you want?
No way I put those in that character's bank and not the war bank. Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, I can't catch a break today. Raid start on the 18th. So yeah, it's 2 weeks, isn't it? Yeah. So you've got early access that kicks off. When does early access kick off? 27th, 28th, something like that. So you've got early access. Wait, where's the let's do this properly. Where's the timeline? Where's the timeline? Where's it? Midnight arrives March the 2nd. Season 1 starts on the 17th. Oh shit. I have got it wrong. Oh god. Well, that is going to feel like literally forever. Because you got early access before that as well, don't forget. Oh, it's going to feel like flipping forever. We get 2 full weeks to play the game before the season starts? 2 full weeks of just... Wow. Okay. Two full weeks before we get Bountiful Delves? 3 full weeks before Mythic Plus opens and Mythic Raid, plus early access. Jeez Louise. Yeah, it's going to feel like a decade before the raid opens up. This is why... This is why markets are going to be so goddamn flooded with everything before that happens. In my head, I had it was a week. I had it as a week. I thought we had a week's worth of playtime and then the raid and the season opens. It's not, it's 2. God, Jesus. I mean, that's 17 days of heroic dungeons. I mean, that's so much time to do everything. A lot of people panic sell their concentration crafts. Yeah, I mean, when you think that you've got 2 full weeks plus early access before anybody really wants anything high quality. You know, you'll have that small amount of people that are just crazy and they go for pre-raid bis and they'll, you know, they'll gem and enchant all their gear before they even get anywhere near a, you know, before they head into Raid Finder. Well, it was only a week at the beginning of the War Within, though, right? Hang on. The War Within launched August 26th. Early access was a few days before that. Season 1, September the 10th. So it was 2 weeks again. Yeah, it was 2 weeks at the beginning of the War Within as well. And yeah, I vaguely remember it feeling like flipping forever. Early access, August 22nd. Global launch, August the 26th. Season 1 did not kick off until September the 10th. 2 full weeks later. This is why people were able to get full build. And this is why before the raid even launched, this was why before the raid even launched I was able to get alchemy full build, yeah. We spent 1 week profession shuffling, so it felt shorter. Maybe. It's going to be a long time. It's going to be a long time for sure. And then when you know, you got that 3-4 days of early access as well. What was I doing? I was going back to that enchanter who put them in the bank, not the war bank. I think. How much time left for remix? Basically the rest of the day. Today is basically the last day for Team EU on remix. Well, that's a good point. That we had heroic. There was no. We rolled straight into. There was no heroic week, was there, in the War Within? Shit, I've closed the window down. Yeah, this time Mythic doesn't open until March the 24th. 3 weeks. 3 weeks. And Mythic Plus, actually. 3 weeks. So that's... Jesus. Yeah. 3 weeks plus early access before anybody really wants anything of high quality. You got flipping ages. You got ages. In beginning of expansion terms, that is ages. And you've also got to remember that the main big bulk of demand doesn't actually kick in until the 2nd week of Mythic season. Because that's when people open big boy vaults. And then that's when people start getting bis gear and start caring about upgrading it. It's going to be ages. The one thing that is going to be quite nice, though, is that there's going to be a long tail to Season 1 because of the different raids. The fact that Normal and Heroic Voidspire and Dream Rift turn up. Then we have the first 2 raids on Mythic, and the Mythic Plus season opens. The final raid opens all in one go, but not until an entire calendar month after the expansion has already been live. We'll be bored of midnight by the time the last raid comes out, but that means that, like, the week after that, April the 17th, is when people will be getting, like, their first reset on this raid. Story mode and raid finder doesn't kick off until gone April. Flipping hell. Sheesh. Are we thinking a profession sweep mid-February to finish off profession stuff? Seems like a lot is missing or not done. We were hoping this last build was going to bring about a bunch of changes. Because yes, you're not wrong. There is a lot that is kind of far from finished.
Yeah.
I would have really liked to have already
Keep your ear to the
have seen that turn up. I don't mind the odd node not working here or there, but there's entire sections of some professions that just feel off. Blacksmithing, for example, feels like just they've done nothing with it. Inscription has got so many things that needs tweaking and tuning. Loads of stuff. There's loads of stuff all over the place. We still are waiting for Moxie to be implemented as a crafting material. Because until we know how much Moxie is on the profession gear,
Yo.
we don't really know what the plan of action is. But I can already tell you
Don't be a stranger.
that with 3 weeks plus early access before Mythic Raid opens up and Mythic Plus season starts, we have got flipping ages. There is no rush whatsoever. No rush at all. We can put a basic enchant on that. We don't need the big boy enchant because it's going to be too expensive to put the big boy enchant on that. You keep costs as low as possible when it comes to... I've still opted to go for quality 5 of these green tools and accessories because that also shouldn't be too difficult to do. Nice. 21%. 21% multi-craft. 21% multi-craft. Without it really costing you anything. With multiple raids and the staggered release, does that also mean we get world first staggered? How might that affect the market? Oh, I mean, it's flipping, who knows? Honestly, who knows? Like I said, it will definitely help with there being a nice long tail to the first season. You know, it's 6 of one, half dozen of another. Having to wait, you know, having a staggered release also means that the demand stays around for longer. So, it's all good. Race to world first. People are upset because it's still basically unclear. Ah, boo. Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo. They'll deal with it. They'll figure it out. That's literally what they signed up for. If you want to win the competition, you got to try the hardest. Okay. Well, that feels like my Prism setup for Junk Crafters. Surprisingly, it's actually more involved than some of the others because you've actually got to level the profession a bit. You got to get the profession up to skill 41 to get the recipe. The difference is going to be when we look at diamonds. Oh, I wonder if the recipes for the diamonds have a skill requirement on them. That's going to be interesting. Are they going to say skill 50? Or are they not going to have a level requirement on them? Where's me wowhead? Where's me wowhead? What are these things called? Ever Song Diamonds. Give me a random recipe. Indecipherable Eversong Diamond. Rune crafting 50. Okay, so the diamonds are the same, basically. Weirdly, your prospecting, in fact, your jewel crafting concentration build is the same regardless. There isn't really a difference to how you set it up. Because even when you start building the diamonds, there might be a bit of a more long tail approach to concentration on these because of just how much concentration they use. But the reality is you are still shooting for the same things. You're still hyper focused on getting your multi-craft as high as possible. Because a nice, you know, you might only get to press the button once. You only get to press the button once. You want the opportunity for it to multi-craft up to like 3 or 4. Which would be so funny. I bet I can buy prisms, but I bet I can only buy prisms at quality 2, can't I? Oh, I don't have a diamond recipe. 965 concentration. They should put the diamonds into more crafts than just the meta gems. Yeah, you're probably not wrong. But I still think that this is what I need to look at. I need to look at what you got to do the direct comparison. If you want if you want concentration builds to be really lucrative, you need to make sure that those items are an absolute pain in the ass to guarantee it full build anyway. You want to make sure that the diamonds and the prisms are super involved to like fully spec out. 705 recipe skill is actually bananas, which I'm gonna hazard a guess is a huge part of this tree. Does it at any point talk about diamonds and how to get them better? It might only be this first node, you know. It might not be the second layers. That needs testing. Thinking about hive mind farming the whole time on a low pop realm. There is probably going to be plenty of time for gathering, though. You lot are not wrong. Plenty of time to go out there farming stuff, because setting up your professions isn't going to take a huge amount of your time. Any crafter that you want, you know, to optimize on, you will need to optimize as fast as you can optimize them. But then once you've hit full build, you know, sure, bang out some patron orders, whatever, but without a shuffle, the shuffle really did keep us very, well, those who did it, let me point out, those that did shuffling spent a lot of time shuffling in the first couple of weeks. Without the shuffle, crafters have got far more casual approach to things. And because of the fact that there's only 2 material qualities, you know, pushing all of this to max is really not that important. I know I've spent a bunch of time figuring out full leveling guides to go from 1 to 100, but the reality is there's not that much need to do it. You were pushing, what you would find, what we found in the War Within is that people were pushing their actual bar all the way to 100 because it pushed you into like stage 2, which was allowing you to unlock guaranteed quality 2 crafts, which was actually worth pushing for. Even if you weren't doing like full build, there was still value to like level this up. But now there's just no need. There's that you'll do it eventually, but there's no rush to this. There's no rush to these. It's kind of wild. I think this is basically a prism, kaleidoscopic prism / diamond build. I don't think there's any difference between them. Would there be any reason to spec any differently when going towards diamonds? The recipes are, you buy the recipe off the auction house. You're still going to min-max your multi-craft first. Once your multi-craft is min-maxed, do you have any reason to do anything else? I don't think you have any reason to do anything else, do you? I mean, the theory is it'd be really nice to get this at least below 500. That never happening. Oh, yeah. Shit, I didn't realise. Crafting these is going to give you skill points still at that point. I was just crafting one because I needed one for testing down here. Yeah. There's never any reason to do anything particularly fancy. Dual crafting, do you want to go for the diamond or the kaleidoscope? Well, diamond or prism, either or, really. It's the exact same build. This means that your concentration dual crafters will be multi-purpose. You all start the expansion off by unlocking prisms, right? You'll favourite the prism. And what you'll then do is make that decision. Because you'll either have to... Because these recipes will have a... The recipes will have a cost, because you won't farm the recipes. Crazy. You buy the recipe at whatever the cost is of the recipe. But there's going to be that delay, isn't there, at the very beginning? The delay is that people might want the prisms nice and early, but people aren't going to want diamonds nice and early. Certainly not high quality diamonds, because as we just said, there's like flipping 3 weeks before the Mythic Raid even launches. The likelihood of you selling many high quality diamonds early on, will you recoup? Will they be so expensive, and will you be able? I don't know. Maybe, possibly. I don't know. Depends on price, doesn't it? But my plan and my suggestion would be use your concentration on the prisms to begin with. My leveling guide for jewel crafting, for reference, the way you level jewel crafting all the way to the top is you make a bunch of the embellishments or diamond cuts. So there's a very strong chance that some people will be buying up a bunch of prisms. Now, of course, probably not high quality prisms, but you know, there's always idiots. Either or, the builds are the same. You're still going to want to You're still going to want to unlock this tree, and you're still going to want to put 30 points in multicraft. That's all you want. All you want to do, really. There's no extra multicraft sneaky anywhere else, is there? No. If you have knowledge points spare, obviously throwing points into resourcefulness is also nice. But I was trying to focus on a route which requires you to do nothing. This is a long-term nice to have, but not essential. Most people like to set up their concentration builds and then just not touch them ever again. You can either go 0 knowledge points and just not have any multicraft. But if you go pick up your treasures, go pick up your renown book, which let's say is like 10 minutes per alt, flying around picking up some treasures, going and getting one book, which is actually the Silvermoon book, so the Quartermaster is in Silvermoon where you'll be standing anyway. It's just however long it takes you to go get treasures, buy these. You get any other points, put them in skilled shavings, I guess. I don't even think that putting any points in the ingenuity tree makes all that much sense. And that's mostly down to the fact that you can't get this below 333 very easily. So you're not going to be able to push this down enough to give you a third craft. You'd have to push a diamond cut all the way down. You'd have to push the concentration consumption on a diamond all the way down to 500 to even get a second craft, which is never happening. So stacking ingenuity doesn't make any sense at all, even for concentration. Just stack multicraft as far as it can go and then leave it alone. Don't touch it. So the normal non-concentration prisms will be a gold machine in the first week. If people choose to push their jewel crafting to 100 skill by crafting diamonds, yeah, they'll need a bunch of them. But the other way to level is via these, which are vastly cheaper, but you'll probably put them in the bin. People might choose to level via the diamonds if they see value in selling if they can then sell the diamonds after doing it as well. You could be the guy providing all the prism alts with the flawless gems for the big gold. Oh yeah, I mean always in a gold rush sell shovels. That's the theory, isn't it? But a lot of this is going to require somebody somewhere to be very good at prospecting and providing half the materials. You know, there's the farmers always win. The farmers never lose. You take that one step further, those prospectors need the ore. You know, it's got to come from somewhere. Good thing that there's engineer recycling. Yep. We will look at engineering and its recycling in a bit more detail soon, TM. But I do think hoovering up the cheap rubbish that everybody throws on the auction house and is just trying to recoup costs from could mean that engineers can stack up on some cheap stuff. Okay. We literally only looked at jewel crafting again. I apologise for people who don't care about jewel crafting. But jewel crafting is my main profession. It's usually the one I will figure out first. But it's also helpful to try and work out what the format is going to be for stuff. I think the format is that we want like day 1 0 builds for things for the professions. What you need, a bit of a shopping list of materials, and then a bit more of an advanced build that maybe if you want to throw some gold at it to get slightly more. The benefit of the advanced build, for example, is that it gives you basically 20. What did we work it out to be? Like 20%. There or thereabouts, 20%. Ran out of dust. Yeah. You get 21% multi-craft for whatever the cost is of getting a few knowledge points, time in that regard, and getting these. So let's say these 3 cost you. These 3 plus the enchant is probably 10k, right? I would guess. Plus 20 minutes flying around picking up some treasures. You can either spend nothing and get no multicraft, or you can spend 10k and get 20% multicraft. Probably worth. Probably worth. If that same pattern is replicated as well, if that pattern is replicated for other professions, namely enchanting, crafting and selling enchanting green quality 5 profession tools and accessories, could be money. You know, sell shovels. Who knows? But I'm hungry, boys and girls. Thank you all for joining today. We will focus a little bit more. The format of the stream is not going to differ too much for quite a while now. We're going to poke around. We're going to figure stuff out within the professions. Try and work out where builds work, where builds don't work, what knowledge we need. And hopefully between now and the game actually going live, bugs will get fixed, but hopefully not too much will change that breaks any of the effort. That's the theory, at least. We can hope. We can hope. Right. Boys and girls, I'm going to love you and leave you. We'll be back again tomorrow. If you have any burning desires to see specific professions or whatever, come let me know over on the Discord. Or alternatively, let's get Streamlabs promoting the Discord real quick. Come say hi over on the Discord, or feel free to come say hi on Manthias 24/7, which is my I spoke about this at the beginning of the stream, but I have now a 24/7 operational VOD channel up and running on Twitch. If you just can't get enough of my voice, you can hang out over there. It's got a combination of like the more recent VODs that you may or may not have seen live, plus a splattering of historic VODs that are of maybe somewhat interest to people as well. And there's a bit of a giveaway on the go over there at the moment. I'm giving away 1 million gold to drive a bit of traction to it. And in fact, yes, we are going to raid into the other channel. I'm going to assume that works. Yes. So if you're proactive here, thank you for joining. If you're lurking here, I'll pass you all over to the 24/7 channel where you can chill out. And I'll see you all tomorrow, boys and girls. Have yourselves a wonderful day. Thank you for stopping by. See you next time. Peace.